Hello and welcome to Stage 6 of the Formula One Pirelli British Grand Prix. I am driving my McLaren. I have driver level 4, principal level 8, and 0 tunings thus far. Watch closely what I do here. I immediately drive down in front of Bottas. Because my first time doing this, I got pitted by him, or he did the pit maneuver on me. So I went down there and I blocked him, and I was expecting these guys to be incredibly fast, and then I got to wondering, did they just have a horrible accident? Because, my goodness, is he ever falling substantially far back? But I just kept pushing it and pushing it. There's Hamilton, and I thought, well, okay, maybe there was a wreck and he'll catch up. But it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. So we'll address this later in this race. Now, some people might object to something I just said. I said Bottas. Most people, if you watch a lot of F1 racing, you're used to hearing the announcers say Bottas. That's not actually how his name is pronounced. And I've actually just done a video about this because I released a video about ME7 versus Hamilton versus Bottas. And some people were saying, well, I'm saying it wrong. And I thought, well, maybe I am. That's very possible. So I started doing some research, and I found a video where he himself speaks his name, and he does not say Bottas. He actually says Bottas. And anyway, if you want to see the video, I'll put up a link to it here. It's kind of interesting. Handful of announcers mispronounce his name, and suddenly that's the way to say it. I've noticed a lot of these guys, though, a lot of these Formula One racers, they're really gracious with how people say their name. Like, there's several guys that it's just hard to say their name, and they're really gracious about it. Anyhow, so look at this. Almost 2 kilometers. And by the way, there seems to be some grace period back for off track. I'm pretty sure I had all 4 tires off track for a little bit there. We're going to test that later on. I didn't really test that in this stage. There's absolutely no reason to be going off track because I don't know why. The bots are ridiculously slow. So perhaps all of my bot management is really paying off. But, I mean, come on, that's a 2-kilometer lead, and I still have another lap to go. And the tires are not degrading very fast. So you can just have some fun, but at a certain point, I'm going to have to reel the field back in. There's no way I'm going to finish with this much of a lead higher than I have to, because what did the race description say? Finish in at least 3rd place. Well, if we're going to keep doing bot management, that means that that's exactly where I'm going to finish. And I'm even going to reel in 4th place a little bit. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to slow down here and park for a little bit. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing. This is 16 times normal speed. And there we go. Time to go. Here comes Hamilton. I still want him to overtake me. And then we have Bottas. Oop, I made the I sound. I've been working on that name so much. If you listen to how he says it, it's Bottas. Bottas. You know what? Let's just go with Voltaire. Maybe I should be doing that from now on. Oh, wait a second. He's cloned himself. Oh my goodness. The name that a lot of people have trouble with, and he's in front of me and behind me. How are you doing that? Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe he crashed so bad that he split into 2, and I don't know what's going on. This is so weird. He's in front of me and behind me. Anyhow, because it says I should finish in at least 3rd place, I'm going to finish in exactly 3rd place. And look how slow this guy is. I mean, in real life, he's a rip-roaring racer. He's really good. So this isn't really doing him much credit. You might have noticed that in some races, they've actually had Hamilton and Bottas at the end of the race. So I think they're just trying to mix it up a little bit here, rather than, like, if you weren't a fan of these 2 guys and they were at the head of every single race, you're going to get annoyed. So good for them. Good for the Real Racing 3 crew for trying to keep it interesting. Now, I'm trying to draft off him and actually push him, but if I hit him too hard, I'm going to fail. So, oh, that just sounds so weird. The 2nd place and 4th place, I'm very curious to see what this is going to look like at the end of the race. Is it actually going to show 2 of them? I don't know if you recall this, but in an earlier race, in an earlier stage, this happened to me again, where there was two of them. Two of this exact same car, Valtteri Bottas. Okay, here we are. We're going to get there. And yes, that is weird to say, and it's hard for me to say, but that's really close to how he actually says his name. And I like to go with how someone says their own name. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's see this. Was there actually two of them in this race? Yes. Well, what did the intro screen say? Well, look at that. There was two of them right from the start. Well, that's really weird. Okay, well, you can watch to see if you get the same thing happening. Okay, now, this race, have to follow someone for 120 seconds. That's a long time. So I'm going to start with the guy right in front of me because, well, I'm currently behind him. So that seems like a good place to start. That's 2 full minutes of staying behind this guy. You know what? This is going to be a ridiculously easy race, and there's some long races today, so let's throw this into high speed. So we're now blasting at 4 times regular speed. And, well, that looks a lot better. That counter's going down a lot faster now, isn't it? Alright, so I'm going to fill up this counter. And then I'm supposed to move up to 3rd place. I'm supposed to finish in at least 3rd place. And we'll see how bored I get. Because 2 full laps to go yet? Yeah, I'm probably going to play around a little bit here. In fact, it's a no damage stage, but I'm going to do the pit maneuver on this guy without getting damaged. That's using my get off the gas pedal trick. Now, I just lost grip, degraded my tires a lot more, still no trouble. I've got another whole lap to go, so I might as well just take the lead because I'm kind of bored. And there we go, blasting through at 4 times regular speed with 0 tires. Still, not much of a problem to catch and overtake Hamilton. Yep, I took Copse Corner flat out because I've done that in other days with 0% tires and the same tuning. Now, I'll pull out a 4 times speed. Doesn't that feel horribly slow when I do that? Okay, well now I'm going to need to fall back to 3rd place. I was going to do some donuts, but there they are. And I know because I did the pit maneuver on 4th place that he's a ways behind. Wow, he fell way far back. That was almost close. Okay, there you go. I didn't want you to have to suffer through a super long stage, so we had some fun with it. Pretty easy stage 6 so far. What do we have next? Average speed requirement and have to get to position 5. Something very interesting about this event I'm going to show you right off the start. I'm going to drive off track and watch how long it takes to fail. It's very surprising to me. If you count this out, you're going to get 5 whole seconds. So, not much to sweat about here. I messed around with this stage for a long time. When you've got a minimum average speed requirement, you can't afford just to sit still. You got to keep moving. So I tried driving backwards for a while, but the whole field is right behind you. So if you drive backwards for very long at all, you just can't catch up and finish in 5th place. If you drive backwards just a tiny bit, you lose a lot of average speed and you can't recover it, especially since your tires are degrading. So if you watch what I'm doing, I'm going to keep to taking the most outside line, but not to a ridiculous degree. I don't want to give up tons of speed, but even here, watch what I do in this corner. I would usually not drive it in that far to the outside, and here I'm going to try to stay really far on the outside. Oop, pushed it a bit too far, got off track. Take a quick look at my tire degradation. Should be no trouble taking Copse Corner flat out. Well, even if I have 0 tires at this point, I'd be fine. We know that from past stages that I was doing that just fine. Now, just watch this section a little bit and widen out Chapel Curve. And as we come to Stowe, the problem with taking some corners really wide is you're going to slow down more than you want to. So I'm not going to do that too much. But there we go. The exit of this chicane going into the very last slight curve, I can widen that. Gotta watch the tire degradation though. If you widen something too far with lower tires, you might suddenly find yourself washing off track and losing average speed. But here again, I'm gonna widen that, I'm gonna widen this out. and hopefully stay in a second place. I don't want to finish that high, but I got kind of sick of monkeying around with this stage when it's not a major stage. So this is working. I'm maintaining second place, and that'll be okay for me. And tires, look at that. They're just at 60% right now, not degrading near as fast as they were on some other days. So maybe that has been adjusted as well. In case you don't know, I did put a note regarding this in the Stage 5 video, but just a few hours ago, they put up a free pass for Race 4 in Stage 5, so Race 5.4. There was a glitch where if you finish your lap before any of the bots finish theirs, it'll fail you even if you have the fastest lap. And it hasn't worked like that in the past, so they're giving a free pass for that one. Now, you can see I'm right on Hamilton's bumper, and I don't want to pass him. So I'm going to get out of the throttle a bit early here. Round it out. Oh, that'll be okay. Yep. I could slow this down more, but I just don't want to do this stage again. There we go. Okay, now let's see what they have for us in the last race of Stage 6, because oftentimes that's where it gets more difficult. Like we're going to see a PR increase, I expect. That looks easy. Oh, look at that. Ooh, those specs are way worse. You might want to take a longer look at that. If you're familiar with your grip ratings and brakes, I actually looked at that for a while. And then I did one test run. Even there, like look at that. I was trying to widen the corner a bit, and I couldn't without losing traction. So I need to back up all my braking points so that I can not lose it going around the corners. This actually took me a few tries. See there, I'm stepping out again. What happens is, if you let 6th place get very close to you, he will overtake you because your acceleration is worse. And also, we just had a PR increase, which means all the bots got a little bit more difficult. So you watch, he's going to keep closing in on me throughout this race if I'm not extremely careful. Like in this section here, watch this, he's going to close up on me a bit. See that? And with my grip the way it is, I could not take cops flat out. Now you might not have noticed that. I did an extremely quick lift off and reapply of the throttle. We're talking a fraction of a second. However, sometimes that's all you need to turn the car. So what I do is I lift off the throttle, start my turn, and get back on it. But I do that in a fraction of a second, and it's the difference between flying off track and not flying off track. Now, I'm braking a lot earlier than I would be for Stowe, and I'm going to brake early for this. Doing okay with my lead. Not concerned about time anymore. I was. In fact, let's throw it sideways. Drift the line. I had time to spare. Okay, there you go. Stage 6 isn't bad. Just got to adapt to that last race. That one's a little bit tricky. Thank you for joining me today. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. The final stage should be up in about 24 hours, unless it's incredibly hard, and then it will be a little bit longer than that.